for everybody that has a text that they did not bring themselves, you can put it on top of the bookcase and I'll sort them out when you're done.
So now we're on page 17, the seven branch prayer. The importance of this prayer is often underestimated, undervalued. The seven branch prayer is included in, I think it's safe to say that it's at least implied in every practice that we engage in, and often made explicit. And some of the prayers are very short, like one line that contains all seven branches, and sometimes they're quite long, like taking 20 minutes to recite. So it's good to remind ourselves until we're quite familiar with what it is at least. And by then we'll just be doing it anyway. So we'll recite this one time in English without an explanation this morning, but if you have questions about it this afternoon when we do the open conversation, you can raise them then. So one time in English.
With complete faith I bow to the powerful and noble Chen Re Zig, and to all the victors and their children who abide in the 10 directions and the 3 times. I offer flowers, incense, light, fragrance, food, music, and so on, both substantial and imaginary, and request the noble assembly to accept them. I confess the 10 non-virtuous acts, the 5 inexorable deeds, and all evil actions done, while overpowered by the mental afflictions from beginningless time until now. I rejoice in the merit of whatever virtues Shravakas, Pratyabhutas, Bodhisattvas, and ordinary people gathered throughout the 3 times. I pray for the wheel of the Nirvana to be turned, the teachings of the Mahayana and Hinayana, in ways suitable for the different aptitudes and motivations present in sentient beings. Until samsara is completely empty, please do not pass into nirvana, but look with compassion upon sentient beings drowning in the ocean of suffering. May whatever merit I have gathered be the cause of enlightenment for all. Without delay, may I become a noble guide of beings.
Now, beginning on page 23, first the meaning of this prayer called the Prayer of Chen Re Zig Gelong Pema Karpo's Heart Practice, and then we will recite it as a song from one end to the other. And the meaning here, which is what's helpful to keep in mind while we recite it, is that what we call the enlightened activity of Chen Re Zig, it's during this period is when the enlightened activity of Chen Re Zig occurs. And that activity we've actually already engaged in. From Chen Re Zig's body radiates 5-colored light, the 5 wisdoms of the 5 Buddha families. That light is white and red and green and blue and yellow. So if you know the 5 Buddha families, that's great. If you don't, this works just fine. So what we're going to do is we imagine during this recitation that we are, on the one hand, the first couple of pages like singing the praises of Chen Re Zig, and then we move into a place where the light from Chen Re Zig radiates continuously and it strikes all beings in samsara. And traditionally, samsara is divided up into 6 realms, and then there's like sub-realms of the 6 realms and so on. But we can think that the light is striking all of the beings in all of the realms, one by one or all at once, it doesn't matter. What's important is we think that through the work of Chen Re Zig, the light strikes all beings and purifies them of the causes of suffering. Purifying them of the causes of suffering, the rest takes care of itself. In other words, we don't need to imbue them with the causes of happiness. They already have that. It's just that they don't recognize it. So by removing the veils and the obscurations, the emotional defilements, all these things, obstacles, then they then appear as Chen Re Zig. So currently they're appearing just with Chen Re Zig sitting on a lotus and moon seat on the crown of their heads. So when this light from Chen Re Zig strikes them, then they themselves appear as Chen Re Zig. So normally we go through the 6 realms one by one, but we're just going to recite this prayer once. if in Tibetan. So if you know the 6 realms, that's great. If you don't, just visualize the light going out and purifying beings of the causes of suffering. And this goes, let me get this right. One second here. We're down here. Let's have the light. Goes to page 29. So we'll just take a short stop there. After page 29, beginning on page 23. So we'll recite this one time in Tibetan, and thinking, visualizing the light radiating from Chen Re Zig to all beings.
Lama Chen Re Zig, idam Chen Re Zig, pacho Chen Re Zig, Yakun Chen Re Zig, Jangun Chen Re Zig, to Jesus Yawatu Chen Tame Kowa Jangme Kyam Gyuching Zume Dupya Yongwe Joala Gunpo Kile Kyasem Machiso Yanken Sanje Tobajinjilo Togme Dune Leyen Saketu Sedawangi Nyawake Sadram Dunya Yongwe Sem Chenam Lacho Keki Kunduke Washo Om Mani Padme Om Dune Leyen Saketu Semewangi Igagnesuke Trekong Dunya Yongwe Sem Chenam Jincho Pota Ruke Washo Om Mani Padme Togme Dune Leyen Saketu Timu Kwandi Dudro Chen Re Zig Dong Se Pa Sum Pa Yi Ma Da Ching Ri Cho Nam Ro Wa Dang Su Cho Yi Tru Cho Cho Ge Pa Shok Pa Cho Ge La So Wa Ye Pei Tu Da Yi Du Ja Yu Nai Dro Wa Nam Le Tre Lu Len Ge Wei Le La Song Zhou Wei Dong Yu Chu Dang Den Pa Shou.
The bottom of page 30, there is a couple of lines in italics, which sometimes we call the small print. This is worth just reading these two lines, and you can study it later if you wish. This prayer was recited by the great Siddha, that is to say, a great practitioner, someone who has attained significant degree of realization, if not complete enlightenment. So a great Siddha, Tongtong Gyalpo, as he recalled the words from a former life. At one time he was born as the monk Pema Karpo, practicing the Nunye, which is a certain practice for Chen Re Zig, from age 20 to 80. He supplicated with these words one pointedly to noble Chen Re Zig. Hence the prayer indeed possesses the supreme mark of blessing. So now, moving down to page 31, by praying one pointedly in this manner, light radiates from the body of the noble one and purifies impure karma, appearance, and deluded mind. The outer environment becomes the realm of Dewa Chen. The body, speech, and mind of the inhabitants becomes the exalted speech and mind of the powerful Chen Re Zig. Appearance, sound, and awareness are inseparable with emptiness. So here we're talking about the result of the activity of Chen Re Zig, which appears as radiating these 5 colored lights and removing the obscurations of others. So once those obscurations and the causes of suffering are removed, then the result is stated here in this short prayer. So let's recite that together once in English.
By
When
praying
one pointedly in this manner, light radiates from the body of the Noble One, and purifies impure karma, appearance, and deluded mind. The outer environment becomes the realm of Dewa Chen. The body, speech, and mind of the inhabitants become the exalted body, speech, and mind of the powerful Chen Re Zig. Appearance, sound, and awareness are inseparable with emptiness.
So finishing this, reading this, page 31, it's important to kind of spend a little time before you read it generally, during it and after it, to instill a little bit of confidence that literally by praying in this way, there's certain things have come about, and even if I can't recognize them now, I will surely recognize them in the future. Then we continue on. It says, again in the small print at the very bottom, reflect upon this meaning while reciting the mantra. So we're about to begin the recitation of the mantra. The recitation of the mantra has its own practice, of course, and so we have some choices there. While reciting the mantra, one can continue to imagine the 5 colored lights radiating from Chen Re Zig's body and purifying sentient beings of the causes of suffering, establishing them in a state of awareness and realization. That's one possibility. Another possibility is to listen to the mantra while it's being recited. And instead of just thinking of it from the perspective of our own voice reciting it, listen to all sounds, whether they're coming from your mouth or from the mouths of others in the room, or there's an airplane that flies over, or a car honks in the street, or the dog sings along with us. Whatever it is, we think that this is actually the voice of Chen Re Zig, and the voice of Chen Re Zig carries the power to purify. So you can imagine the purification ongoing, reciting the mantra. You can listen to the mantra. And there are other things too that are actually, there's a small red book that we have now that you can read some of the things that you can do during the mantra and other aspects of the Chen Re Zig practice. So maybe we'll talk about that maybe after lunch. So let us begin with the mantra first. Singing it for a few rounds, and it's helpful to, if you don't know how to actually sing the mantra, so you can sing the mantra at any time, and when we're singing, then Pat will move us into just reciting the mantra, and when you just recite the mantra, then it should be done rather quickly, but always, whether you sing it or recite it quickly, you should be clear in your own self that you are saying each of the syllables of the mantra, that it's not all blurred together so that it just sounds like even if it sounds like that to others, you should be able to hear the syllables in your own mind as they go by. Okay?
Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Padme Hum. Om Mani 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 Padme Hum.
Om Mani Now, having developed, visualized, maintained the various visualizations that are part of this practice, now we move in the direction of abandoning that effort completely and dissolving all of the elements into their original state, which is emptiness. We start the process by recalling that all of our experiences are already the union of appearance and emptiness. So the only thing left to do is for us to recognize that, acknowledge that. So we begin by imagining that all of our experiences of an outer environment, such as this room and all the people in it, our texts and tables and sitting cushions, and all the things of this world that appear to us also, the cars and freeways and roads and seashores, mountains, forests and forest fires, without any exception, we recognize that they are without inherent existence, already, in essence, empty appearances. So we imagine that all of these outer appearance things gradually dissolve like melting snow, only much quicker. And all the colors and all the things dissolve and begin to run together into each other. And all of those things gather as they run together in a great light. And that light accumulates as the dissolution continues into an enormous amount of light, which is then completely absorbed into the Chen Re Zig on the crown of your head. And all beings, all of the appearances of Chen Re Zig, the same, gradually dissolving into light and into each other. They also all together merge like liquid light flowing together. and that light is absorbed into the Chen Re Zig on the crown of your head. And now you can imagine the Chen Re Zig on the crown of your head first recalling the Buddha Amitabha dissolving into the form of Chen Re Zig. That is to say, into your form. And in the center of your chest, in your heart place, there is the lotus and the moon seat, surmounted by the syllable Hri. And we imagine that the lotus and moon seat and the syllable Hri, or the lotus and moon seat, dissolve into the syllable Hri. And likewise, our own form, which is still Chen Re Zig, begins to dissolve. And there are many variations on this, but you can imagine from the bottom up. And if you're sitting on a cushion, you can imagine just from the bottom of your body and your legs begins to dissolve into your form above the legs. And from the top of your head, the form of Chen Re Zig begins to dissolve downward. And gradually that entire form, your entire form, dissolves into the letter Hri. And the Hri gradually dissolves into itself in stages. The various parts of it become smaller and thinner as the letter itself becomes brighter and brighter. Until there is a mere point of light. And we place our full awareness on that point of light and watch as it grows brighter and smaller, brighter and smaller, until it is finally absorbed into itself. And in that space, with all appearances having dissolved, we rest in the empty essence of mind itself. And now, as we bring the practice to an end, the first thing that we do is we appear again. We appear again, and the instructions for carrying the practice between sessions is clear. page 33 on line 1, it says, the apparitional bodies of myself and others. Apparitional here simply means union of appearance and emptiness. So the apparitional bodies of myself and others are the body of the Noble One. So we imagine that in essence our bodies are the body of Chen Re Zig. Again, clear, empty appearance. Sounds are the melody of the 6 syllables, which is to say that all sounds are in essence the melody of the 6 syllables. Every sound we hear contains the entire essence of Chen Re Zig. Then it says, thought and memory are waves of great intrinsic awareness. Normally we think of thought and memory as obstacles to our meditation, but that's because we don't recognize the nature of thought and memory. So now, recognizing thought and memory as great intrinsic awareness, it is not an obstacle to our meditation. And we just recognize that, and that's it. Nothing to do with it. And then the dedication itself. By this virtue may I quickly accomplish the state of powerful Chen Re Zig and establish all beings without exception on that level. And so we'll recite in English the words from the top of page 33, where it says the apparitional bodies, down through that dedication.
The apparitional
Bodies of myself and others are the body of the Noble One. Sounds are the melody of the 6 syllables. Thought and memory are waves of great intrinsic awareness. By this virtue may I quickly accomplish the state of powerful Chen Re Zig and establish all beings without exception on that level.
And now we'll recite in Tibetan the dedication on page 35 and 36 and 37.
Tarnum Dejike Sonam Ki Dagang Dakwa Relto Jowakun Nisang Nudi Bowa Yumata Ewa Chendu Zute Matatu Sachu Nabjune Trupe Chochu Zendo Jeparsho Gewadi Kewokum Sonam Yeshe Sozoke Sonam Yeshe Rejumwe Dampakuni Toparsho Jangchu Sendi Rinpoche Make Panam Kegyuchi Kepanyamba me padang gomne gomdu delwarsho.
So, I think we have a couple of announcements, don't we? Do you have more?
What's that?
Do you have? Sunday announcement. Oh, it's July. That's not it.
You can announce the fundraiser.
The fundraiser.
The 6th.
You know, I think I'm gonna do that to you, Zopa. Do it, will you?
It's not a walk, it's not a run, it's a sit-a-thon.
See, that's why I gave it to you. Not anything.
We are going to do a sit-a-thon. So if you've ever done a walk-a-thon, you know how this works. You go get people to pledge, and you go sit with all of us in Grant Park, and you can sit any amount of time. The details about all this are on that bulletin board and on our website. We're going to do this September 3rd, so that's the Saturday afternoon of, what's that holiday? One of them holidays. And you can come sit for any amount of time, and your friends, family, enemies, and strangers can come sit with you. So this is an important fundraiser for our center. So please think about what level you could participate in. One of the levels is simply come sit for however many minutes. If you can't do that, another level is pledge to someone who is going to sit. You know, give them $10, give them $20, give them $1,000. And so any of those, you can participate at all kinds of levels. We also need some people to help volunteers set things up at the park. And for all that, you can talk to Jennifer Cox. And I think her email is right here on this little thing. And this is posted up there. Okay. We hope you'll join in. It should be quite fun. We're just going to
Where's
be in
Grant
the park.
Where is that?
Grant Park is in Northeast Portland.
It's 33rd and Hancock or somewhere right near
Northeast
there.
Grant Park.
It's Grant High School's park. It's just
It's over that way,
Yeah.
not too far, but
By
not
the
too close.
time it happens,
Over that way. Right away.
yeah, it's quite close.
Spoken like a true GPS.
Yeah.
Yeah.